It's time for The Shelf. Whangarei District Libraries Radio on Beagle Radio. Oh! Kia ora, everyone.
Tēnā koutou katoa. Welcome to The Shelf, a radio show for Whangarei District Libraries on Beagle Radio 88.1 FM and streaming online at beagleradio.co.nz. My name is LJ. I am Cataloguing Services Librarian at Whangarei District Libraries.
My name is Glenn, here with LJ today at the Beagle Radio studio during Fringe Week.
Yeah, exciting.
It's exciting.
It is really
I'm excited.
If you heard our technical difficulties, just pretend that you didn't.
Yeah. It's a Fringe radio show, so we expect it to be fringy.
Yeah, it's a Fringe bumper episode. But first of all,
Actually, can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
First of all, we just need to clarify the dress code for today's session. Because listeners will possibly...
I'm missing out on the visual aspect.
Absolutely.
I am well overdressed for daytime radio, and you'll find out why later in the show.
You're going to leave us in suspense.
So you have to keep listening. Yeah.
So I would describe LJ's outfit, but I won't. You'll have to tune in later on, and all will be revealed and why.
Yes. Before we get into Fringe, are you reading anything right now? Have you had time?
Yeah, well, time has been precious lately, but I always feel a guilt in the back of my mind about what I'm reading because you ask me all the time.
That's not what I want to generate. It should be the positive. But okay,
so I've got a few things.
Okay,
I'm going through a rewatch kind of week.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a good thing, but I've been rewatching the series Mad Men.
Oh, the children's librarian's watching that. Marama's watching that.
I think
too. Mrs. Kite is also.
She said she was watching it, and when I was like, I wonder what that's like. I realised I find it a harrowing watch, and when I first watched it, I found it I couldn't watch it. I had to give up, and then I got into it again, and I didn't know, but I'd missed out a chunk of the first season. Oh. So when I restarted, maybe I just started on series 2. I don't know what happened, but so I've been enjoying that, and then I've been rereading. A book came. I didn't borrow it from the library. It got donated to the library because sometimes people drop off their household books, and
they're old things. Yeah.
Yeah, and if we can use them, we use them. Otherwise, we pass them on to other people.
Yeah.
And one of them was a science fiction classic called Red Mars by Kim Stanley Robinson. I might have even talked about it before. It's part of the Mars trilogy. It was written in 1992. It's about the settlement of Mars by humans to escape the Earth chaos.
Sounding eerie.
But it's a really interesting book. It's got like political kind of storyline. It's got kind of romantic relationships. It's got the whole science, technical kind of what settlement on Mars might actually look like, and psychology. So it's a real kind of understanding of humans, people, but it's set on Mars.
Cool.
Super cool book, but I'm questioning, do I want it? The series is big.
Right.
And I'm like, why?
How?
So I was going to ask you, what's your position on rereading things?
I think... positive.
There's no rules?
There's no rules.
Doesn't it feel like a waste of time?
I'm just about to confess, I'm honestly not a big rereader because I have such a huge to-be-read list that I feel the pressure to... People in the office will know that I've been trying to cut it down because my list was like over 1,000. And it was... I felt I was being crushed under the weight of... Like, how can I read this many books in my lifetime? So this year I've managed to go through and be a bit ruthless, and we're now sitting at around 600. But
that's your books to read?
To be read. So because of that...
Do you spend much time reading your to-be-read list? Because that in itself would take you about 10 minutes.
It's a part-time job. Well, I actually use the story graph to track my reading, which I love. What is the story graph? It's a website. It's an alternative to Goodreads. Probably most people have heard of Goodreads, but Goodreads is Amazon owned, whereas this is independently owned, and it gives you little statistics and nerdy things if you're into that sort of thing, a little analytics on what you've read, and helps me keep track of what I need to read. But I don't think it's wrong to reread things. I also think for people that are struggling to get back into reading, rereading can be a good doorway into, going back to something that you've, loved before can be a good way to get back into it because it's kind of familiar.
It's kind of comforting.
Yeah, that's the right word. So that's my official position. I also think it's okay to stop reading a book if you're not enjoying it, which is kind of controversial. Some people are completists, but I've got 600 books to get through in my lifetime. So I don't have time. Life's too short to read a bad book. I give it a chance. But I think that it's fine to not finish something if it's not for you. Yeah.
I often say that to people on the library bus. They're like, I'll never get through all these books. No one's saying you have to read all of them. No one's policing you.
No,
so.
it's in your own mind.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, what about you? What are you reading?
Not much.
Okay, you just got, after that big setup, you're not actually reading anything.
No, I am, but not as much as I usually am. So it feels like not a lot. But as you just said, nobody's policing it. I have been learning to crochet for the last couple of months because I decided I wanted a hobby. Like, I like to do puzzles and stuff, but I decided I wanted a hobby that I could have a thing that I made at the end of it. So we've got a great crochet book selection in the library, especially if you're into making those little figurines and stuff like that. But I have been reading, I've just started, it's called The Guys Book Club by Andy Wolverton, and it's about a librarian in a public library in Maryland, and I actually found it because he was retiring and one of his co-workers posted on an Instagram that I follow a little video about him, and the thing, and promoted his book, and I was like, that sounds great. So basically he was a public librarian, and he got really sick of, he heard a lot of comments about how men don't read and things like that. Actually, I think that's what it's called. Men Don't Read: The Story of the Guys Book Club, or something like that. But Andy Wolverton is his name. Did
you say the author is the public librarian?
Yeah.
And it's set in a public library?
Yeah, it's non-fiction. So it's about his, it's sort of like part case study, part or autobiography, I guess, about how, he was sick and tired of hearing men don't read, and so he started the Guys Book Club, which was a men-only book club, is a place because book clubs are predominantly, over the years, have become like a woman's space, and some men go to them, but not a lot, and so he wanted to make a space for, I haven't read it. I'll probably talk about it again once I've read more of it, because I've only just started it. But he wanted to create a place where men could come and talk about the books that they've read. He selected like a specific book. It's a real traditional type book club. It would be like a set book that they'd all read and then discuss. But he talks about the mental health benefits that came out of it, the literacy, a little bit like what we've talked about before with people saying that their kids don't like to read, but then they don't read anything. So like a little bit about like modelling that to your kids and stuff like that. So he ran it it was really successful, and he ran it for years. So I've been subtly dropping hints to the men on our staff. I've said to Eddie, hey, it's a book you might be interested in. I've said to Andy. So maybe we might watch this space start something similar up here. I mean, we currently have a number of book clubs, but that's quite interesting.
Cool. I'll be interested to have a look at it or hear more about it from you, because my thought was, I wonder if the story is going to be, it becomes more than just a book club. It's about men actually more openly communicating. It sounds like,
from the sort of, the little bit that I've read and what I've seen about it online is that is, basically what it ends up being is, much bigger than quote unquote just a book club. It sounds like it would make a good movie, actually. But
Cool. Great.
So, Fringe.
Yeah, Fringe has been big. I think it will be day 16 of the Fringe, so
we're
about 2/3 of the way through, or a bit over 2/3.
Week, isn't it? Yeah.
It's finishing up this Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Still lots of good things happening.
Yeah.
But we've had a busy time in the library. The library has been not really an official, it's one of the venues for Fringe things.
Yeah.
Which has been great. And we should just talk about maybe some of the things that have been happening.
Just the library? You don't want to talk about your
we can talk
your
about
personal performance?
Well, I did
in your moonlighting as a musician?
Yeah, so I play in the band Mermaid Bait, and we did perform at the Cirque du Fringe, the circus tent that you can see down at the town basin. Yep, we had a sell-out crowd. It was really good. We performed with the Sideshow Hustlers, which were a collection of circus / acrobat / dancers / performers.
A variety show?
Yeah, variety. So we had... This kind of, I don't know how to describe it exactly. I mean, there's these things that come down from the ceiling called silks.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not a circus, but...
Oh, like, so aerialists.
Aerial performances, some were staged. Thank you.
No, that's okay. I mean, I would help more, but unfortunately I'm a bad co-worker and I didn't attend. To be fair...
There were points off.
To be fair, it sold out by the time I got around to it.
It's fine.
You didn't need me.
Didn't need, but you were missed. So silks, aerial performances, stage performances. While we were playing our songs, the performers chose one of the songs that they wanted to do an act to.
Cool.
It went really well, and it culminated with me, the audience throwing things at the band to boo us off the stage, and me getting a cream pie to the face.
A lifelong dream. Fulfilled.
Dream. Yeah.
Awesome.
So that was good.
Cool. All right. So what we've had in the library so far, Moving Bookclub.
Yeah, that's really cool. That was improvised dance movement involving books as props.
Yeah.
In spaces in the library, maybe a group from 5 to 8 people.
Yeah.
Moving around with each other and separately in a space.
Like dance improv, is that?
I think
I'd
call it dance
in saying
improv?
that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and there were some musicians there a couple of times as well.
Yep, there were 3 performances that I know they did, and they sometimes just had music playing through a speaker, but one time they had a double bass and a saxophone.
That's the one part of the one that I saw.
That was amazing.
Very cool. Yeah, really, really cool.
Yeah, so that was pretty neat for people that were lucky enough to be there to witness it.
And then over the weekend, we had the Human Library.
We had the Human Library, and we can play a little interview about that if we want to. Should we cut away to that now?
Yeah, sure.
Right, well, let's get that set up.
Technical.
So that was, would have been Saturday the 5th of October, we had the Human Library.
Yeah. And we've had that a few times before in the past. It's a pretty regular Fringe event, would we say?
I think so. It's been at least once or twice before in the Fringe and once on its own. There was an interview done here on Beagle Radio last Friday. Beagle Radio has been having a Fringe radio show every morning, 10 to 12, interviewing artists and people that are putting on Fringe events. It's been awesome to listen to. It's been really cool radio.
Yeah, cool.
And on Friday, Grayson caught up with...
Leanne?
Grayson was a Fringe radio host, caught up with Leanne Cameron, who was the Human Library event organiser, and they had a quick interview, and here it is.
Awesome.
So the Human Library is just that. It is human books rather than paper books. And these humans are talking about their lived experience and sharing that and encouraging courageous conversations around that.
Oh, okay. So, wow, that sounds really cool. So what type of experiences, like, is it like centered around one sort of genre, or is it just like, I don't know.
Yeah, good question. I know it's a strange concept. Yeah. It's a very unique concept.
Yeah.
So we try to have some diversity, and it's people with an experience where there might be prejudices or stereotypes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it's a way to create a chance to have a conversation.
An open environment.
An open, courageous conversation, to ask questions that you may not normally have the chance to ask of these people. And the whole concept of the Human Library is to unjudge people.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah, so we try to have a diverse group. We've got 9 books tomorrow, and some of the titles are weight loss surgery, deaf, ADHD, age gap relationship, all those things where we can judge people.
Yeah.
Sometimes we judge because we don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. And when can people, when is this happening?
So that's tomorrow at the library. It's from 9:30 to 12:30.
Yeah, and is it just a one-off session, or are there going to be more throughout Fringe?
So, just the one-off, yeah.
Just the one-off?
Yeah.
And can people, is it like a walk-in event, or do people have to book tickets?
Just walk in, there's no cost. We'll have a catalogue of what books are available. You pick who you'd like to talk to. The reading, so we all call it library language. So the reading takes about 30 minutes. You can extend it a little bit more if you're really into it and having a great conversation. And then, as we said, there's 9 titles, so if you enjoyed the first one, you can always hang around and do another one.
And what was like you said you're organising this.
Yeah.
What's the inspiration behind this? Like what makes you wanna do this?
Because I have a lived experience where there is a lot of judgment.
Yeah.
And I think we need to change that perception.
Definitely.
So I've been a book, and I really love the whole concept. I've been a book. I actually do it. So the Human Library is an international organisation in Denmark.
Wow.
They've been doing it since 2000, and they do have online readings as well. So I do online. I did one a couple of days ago, talking to people from an insurance company from Belgium.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds really cool.
It's really cool, and we're really lucky to have it here. It's the 3rd time in Whangarei.
And was that part of Fringe last year as well, or is it just pop up like?
Yeah.
Oh, it was part of Fringe. Awesome.
Yeah, and it's only ever been. This will be the 4th time in New Zealand.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Really like what's the word? Not innovative. That's the wrong word. Like experimental, I guess.
Yeah.
But really cool.
Yeah.
And what would you say? Because you've done this for a little while, then. What would you say your favourite part of like organising this has been? The most rewarding?
Meeting a variety of people. So we're really diverse, and having that experience of being able to ask them questions and get to know them a bit better.
Awesome. So make sure you guys go on down to the library tomorrow at
9:30 to 12:30.
9:30 to 12:30, and go and see.
Well, that was an interview that happened last week on Fringe Radio, on Beagle Radio. That was Grayson talking to Leanne Cameron.
Yeah, so don't come down to the library tomorrow because it's already happened. Yeah. But as they said, we've had it for Fringe in the past, and I'm sure that we will do it again.
Yeah, I'm sure if we can do it again, we will, because it's a really cool event. And it was I was working on Saturday, and it was well attended, and people seemed to really enjoy it. And I've done a reading of a book before.
Yeah.
It was really interesting. You get to ask a lot of questions which you normally wouldn't feel comfortable asking.
It's quite a vulnerable thing, isn't it? Yeah.
And learned a lot, but quite intense for me. Like 30 minutes of talking to someone intensely.
Yeah.
That was enough for me. So I was really happy just to read the one book, but I know other people read more than one.
Books.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
What else has been happening?
Sunday we had a double bill, so to speak. Jerry Paul and the Elephant Tree and Dragons in the Library, which was a Dungeons and Dragons event.
Do you want to talk about that? You attended not as an organiser but as an attendee.
No, so last year was the first time that we did it, and we didn't do it as part of Fringe last year. It was just a library technical difficulty.
Oh, that was just my computer started randomly playing something. And we're sitting here with headphones on, and I couldn't actually tell where the sound was coming from.
You just didn't want to hear me talk about Dungeons and Dragons.
No, I was really keen to hear you.
So yeah, we had Dragons in the library last year, which was quite a big event because we had all kinds of board games and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic the Gathering and stuff, whereas this year it was a little bit more pared down because we had the Sandbox Festival in July and a lot of that stuff was a part of that. So this year it was just Dungeons and Dragons, as far as I know.
Well, we do have an interview here
Oh,
with,
good. Okay,
with
so
Verena.
it might fact check me then. But yeah, so last year I helped to organise, and this year they were more, because it was a bit smaller, it was more self-sufficient, so they didn't need a librarian helper. So I got to go as a member of the public, which was cool because I got to play a little bit last year, but this time I got to just take off my work hat and just be a member of the public, and I had a lot of fun, especially because I failed at finding a group to join in normal life. So annually I get to play my game of Dungeons and Dragons. And yeah, it was great. I went with one of our co-workers' kids, and we had a great time. I like that I'm a little bit socially awkward, and so at first it's sort of nerve-wracking. You're sitting down at a table with a lot of people that you don't know, and then by the end of it you've been on this epic adventure together, and you've got these inside jokes, like these in-character inside jokes. So yeah, it's a really nice feeling. I really enjoyed it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Pleased to hear you looked happy as you were walking out.
Yeah.
I did catch up with Verena, who was the organiser, or one of the organisers, and we did a short interview. So let's see what she has to say. Right, Sunday morning at the Central Library, and I'm with Verena, who we all know from volunteering Northland, but also involved with lots of Fringe Festival work and events, and also involved with an event happening as part of the Fringe Festival called Dragons in the Library. This has happened before, some of you might know about it, but Verena, tell us what is happening right now.
Right, so at the moment we have about 7 D&D groups playing in the library on different tables, and that's kind of the main part of the day, that people who haven't played or haven't got a community here to play with, that they can come in and experience Dungeons and Dragons or other tabletop role-playing games in a friendly, welcoming atmosphere. And we have had quite a few game masters put up their hands to offer the games for newbies and for experienced players, ranging from 1 hour duration for one shot for a short adventure to 3 hours. And it has been hugely successful.
That's great.
Everybody is sitting there still enjoying themselves.
Fantastic. You had quite a crowd. We opened at 10. It started at 10, and did we count 40 people queuing at 10 o'clock for taking part, which is amazing.
That was pretty amazing. So I think we'll start pre-registering people for the next one, because definitely there will be a next one.
Cool.
And if the library is happy to invite us back, then we'll be back here. We had some families coming, so mums with their kids and dads with their kids, and one mother said she had never played before, but she really got into it, and she's usually a Morris dancer, but she was all in, and
Fantastic.
It was amazing to see. So they have just left, but the others are still playing. So
fantastic. So you mentioned D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, but there are some other games, role-playing games. Are they not quite as famous or popular, or are they? I don't know. I don't know much about it.
So Dungeons and Dragons is the most popular one, with its fantasy world around it and a certain set of rules that we use to play. But I'm also running games for The Dark Eye, which is a German role-playing game that has been translated into English, so I usually bring that. So that's a different fantasy world. There's Lord of the Rings role-playing games. There are science fiction role-playing games. So all sorts of role-playing games. But here at the moment we have mainly Dungeons and Dragons because people know that name. And then we have also a few board games, and people can come in and play the Cluedo version of Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay.
And, you know.
I saw a family at the table in the front playing some sort of card game. I'm not sure what they were doing, but yeah, that was cool to see a range of people involved.
Yes, yep. And we have games from, 5 minutes to 3 hours, basically. So depending on what you want to do, if you want to play more of a casual game, then you can do that with very minimal rules, or you can get all into D&D and create your own character, get really kind of up into which spells you need to use for your wizard character, or whatever you want to do. There's something there for everyone.
So it sounds very creative and imaginative. Is that what's involved?
Yes, because ultimately it is shared storytelling. It's a shared storytelling experience that you go through as a group of 3 to 7 people, depending on how large the groups are. And you basically share what your character does, and then one person, the game master, usually tells you what happens in the world and how people react in the world to what your character does. And then together the characters go on an adventure, support each other, and work towards a shared goal and kind of finishing that one story arc off. And
So I didn't realise, or never thought of this before, but shared storytelling, it's a perfect fit for the library.
It is, absolutely.
So fantastic. I'm sure it'll happen again. So if you didn't realise this was happening, there will be another opportunity.
Yes.
Follow our Facebook page. Look on our website, we'll advertise it, or posters in the library.
Yes.
Hopefully sooner than later, judging by its popularity today.
Yeah. I did not expect that many people, to be honest, because also it's on a Sunday. The last one was on a Saturday. People are more in town on a Saturday, but it worked really well. So we'll do it as soon as we can.
Awesome. Oh, well, thank you for bringing it to the library.
Well, thank you.
That was me talking to Verena last weekend about the successful Dragons in the Library.
Yes, and I realised I forgot to say, I played a halfling rogue called Milo Tealeaf.
Milo Tealeaf?
Yeah, it was my...
Oh, did you make up that name?
I picked it from a halfling rogue generator, name generator.
Oh, that's cool.
But last year I was a highborn elf, and I must say I enjoyed being a halfling rogue much more.
Okay.
Why?
Why?
Just felt like it suited me more.
Yeah, sure. That's funny.
They like creature comforts and staying at home.
Have you in the studio, Milo?
But also the same day.
Yes, same day we had Jerry Paul and the Elephant Tree.
In the junior room.
Yeah, doing a children's concert. And I've got a bit of an interview we can play with Jerry.
Yeah, cool.
But I'm going to start off just by playing... I recorded on my phone, so the sound quality won't be great, but just to give you an idea of what sort of music they do. This is Jerry Paul and the Elephant Tree.
I like to ramble, I like to roam. This old dog will find his way back home. I like the whiskey, I like the beer. I like the girl with the flower in her hair. She took me to the hay barn in the middle of the day. Spent the afternoon just rolling in the hay. I went to her daddy to ask for her hand. Said you ain't got no money, you ain't got no land. I like to ramble.
Yeah, so that was Jerry and Dusty, who make up Jerry Paul and the Elephant Tree. Yeah, pretty big crowd. I don't know.
For a children's concert?
For a children's concert. They kind of alternated between they do a children's song, an adult song.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of the adult ones.
Yeah, cool.
But they had some quite good interactive stuff.
Awesome.
You can actually check out some of Jerry Paul's children's songs online. They're on Spotify. But I caught up with him and Dusty after the show and did this interview with them. Right, so I'm at the Central Library with Jerry and Dusty from Jerry and the Elephant Tree, and they've just performed an amazing concert in our children's room.
Kia ora, Glenn. Awesome to be here.
How you doing, Glenn?
Yeah, well, thank you guys for being here and coming along. So tell us, for people that are at home that missed out, what do you guys do? What did Jerry Paul and the Elephant Tree?
Well, myself and Dusty, we play in a couple of different bands, but one of our bands is T-Bone, and we play like hillbilly, original, good time, Americana, Kiwi folk. And Jerry Paul and the Elephant Tree Band is kind of kids songs, but for the young and the young at heart. Different influences from Johnny Cash to Spike Milligan to Elvis Presley, and we basically mixed up the material today for a Sunday morning. Music for the all the whānau.
Yeah.
And they were awesome. There was like kids here, there were adults that came on their own, there were kids that came on their own, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
Fantastic dances and some interaction with the kids, and it was neat to see them all just really light up and enjoying themselves. Yeah.
Yes, and actually we played here 2 years ago for the Whangarei Fringe for the first time, and it was nice to see some familiar faces back again, and a great little space to play in the library, and just so cool that it's a free gig, accessible to the community, and we had a lot of fun. It's actually a great thing to do on a Sunday morning. Totally,
and people did enjoy it, and it was interactive, and you've got all the songs, I have to say, are immensely catchy.
Oh,
as soon as they finish, they're stuck in my brain. So I've been singing the song Working on the Worm Farm since I last heard you perform it 2 years ago, and I noticed the children, you got them to interact as worms.
It's a little bit like hip-hop for worms, so we call it worm hop, that one. And, of course, Hank the Wrestling Shark, which I've actually got a copy of the book to leave here for the library.
I was going to ask about your book.
Yeah, and then so if any of the community wants to pop in and have a read of it, there'll be a copy here at the library. And it's about a wrestling shark, as the name suggests.
Yeah. And how do you come up with the songs? Is it co-writing? You had one about an elephant bird that you saw on the way from... down in Wellington to band practice?
Yeah, but...
Well, in T-Bone we sort of collaborate quite a bit, and one of us will come to the band with a bit of sort of kind of material and we'll workshop it together, or Jerry's written all of the kids' songs himself.
Yeah, I wrote them in Berlin and Ireland when I had a couple of months of just chilling over there, and when I was living over that way. And but the T-Bone, myself and Dusty, because we're in Whangarei and Kiri, we get together and write stuff, and so do the guys in Wellington. Okay. And then we bring them and meet up and jam them, and just saying how we need to do a T-Bone show in Whangarei next year.
So look out for that, and hopefully have another album on the boil for T-Bone coming up soon too.
Yeah. Cool. And for people that want to listen to you, where should they? Online, Spotify.
Yeah, the old Spotify, I suppose, is the easiest. T-Bone with a hyphen.
Yeah.
And the album is called Good and Greasy, and then my Jerry Paul and the album's Tales from the Sea and an Elephant Tree.
Cool.
But if you want to go old school and you want to order a physical copy of it, you can always get in touch with us through our Facebook page.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the Facebook page?
The T-Bone Band.
Yeah.
Nice.
Or email us, tbonetheband@gmail.com.
All right. Well, I look forward to a flood of emails after people are listening to this.
Yeah.
Awesome, Glenn.
I want to ask you about the book just briefly. So which came first, the book or the song?
The song, actually. And then I put it into a competition, the John Lennon Songwriting Contest, and I won the grand prize for that.
Is that an international?
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Yeah, it's run by Yoko Ono, and it's based in the States, actually. And then while it was online, I kept on getting messages from people saying that would make a great book. Yep. So I put out to my Facebook community, does anyone know any good illustrators? And like 12 people came to me and said, I'd love to illustrate that. And I said, we'll just illustrate a page and send me in send me in your ideas. And there was a young guy from Nelson. He was my brother's friend, Tom Armstrong. And he completely got the humour and was able to capture that in his illustrations. So we collaborated together, and it was a big project, having known nothing about self-publishing a book.
Yep.
But it's been a cool thing to do. And then from that, I ended up, it led into all sorts of different areas of work, including having my own TV show in Ireland, kids' TV show, and random things like that. So,
Okay. Oh, fantastic. So it all starts with reading, children?
Reading, reading and singing.
Nice. Oh, so we'll have that book in the library. So if people want to check it out, it's Hank the Wrestling Shark by Jerry Paul.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you so much, guys, for coming in as part of the Fringe Festival. That was awesome.
Thank you so much for having us.
Awesome to be here. Thanks, Glenn.
Yeah, that was me talking to two cool guys, Jerry and Dusty, after their show.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was such a good interview.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Hey, let's play. I mentioned you would have heard there the book that you can find in the library that Jerry wrote called Hank the Wrestling Shark. As he mentioned, the book stemmed from the song, an award-winning song. Let's play it. This is called Hank the Wrestling Shark.
As I was swimming in Bondi Bay, which is in Australia, by the way, a very scary thing happened to me with the most terrifying creature of the sea. I was body surfing in the waves, a bit like the way a seal behaves, when a grey fin appeared right alongside me and the fishes in the Bondi tide. Well, a chill went right down through my spine, and a million thoughts went through my mind, and I couldn't swim or I couldn't run. The music in my head went dum 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 dum. It was Hank the Wrestling Shark. There were no boats passing by, and I had no harpoon to shoot the bad guy. He licked his lips and he said with a toss, "Let's have a wrestle and see who's boss." My head started spinning right around, and my toes started sinking in the sandy ground. The clouds crossed over and all went dark, and he said, "You know I'm Hank the Wrestling Shark, don't ya?" He had 3 rows of teeth, his eyes are like stone. His skin was like leather, he had a nose like a traffic cone. His dorsal fin was as sharp as a knife, and I thought I'd reached the end of my very short life. Dum 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 dum. It was Hank the Wrestling Shark. Well, he bared his teeth and looked me in the eye, and I started to shake and let out a cry. Ah, but I said to myself, I'm too young to die, and I jumped on the back of that freaky guy. Well, he threw me in the waves and he whacked me with his tail. He held me underwater till my face turned pale, and he dragged me through the sand and bit me on the arm, and then I realised that nasty Hank, he meant harm. Well, I knew I couldn't beat him through just sheer force. He was white as a bus and as strong as a horse. For the sneaky shark, I had to think outside the box, and an idea came how to beat this swimming ox. Dum 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 dum. It was Hank the Wrestling Shark. I reached around his back towards his pectoral fin. With my 2 fingers I tickled with a grin. I knew I found a soft spot when he began to chuckle, and within half a minute Hank began to buckle. He was laughing uncontrollably right there from his belly, and the more that Hank laughed, the more he turned to jelly. He rolled around in circles, but I held on real tight, and soon I began to think that I might even win the fight. So then Hank yelled out, "Jerry, I give up!" And I stopped tickling him, and he panted like a pup. He knew he'd been defeated when he swam off with the bar, 'cause I had won the title from Hank the Wrestling Shark. Dum 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 dum. It was Hank the Wrestling Shark. Dum 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 dum. It was Hank the Wrestling Shark.
You're listening to The Shelf, a radio show for Whangarei District Libraries on Beagle Radio 88.1 FM. That was Hank the Wrestling Shark by Jerry Paul and the Elephant Tree.
It was.
Cool.
Choice. What are we going to talk
All
about
right.
now?
Coming up in front. So we've talked about what was. Now we're going to talk about what's left. So there's a massive event on Saturday that our fiction librarian Meredith and our non-fiction librarian Sally have been collaborating on for many months. So they would love it if you came. So Saturday 12th of October, and I've got a little write-up from Meredith here. Whangarei District Libraries presents Kaituhi Scribe, an event to celebrate Tai Tokero's local literary talent, giving readers and writers the space to interact with each other one-to-one or join a writer's talk/panel session for some lively discussion at Whangarei's Central Library. The authors are keen to engage with people and share their knowledge about the different genres they work in. There will also be representatives from the NZSA and the North Tech Creative Writing Department if you want any information about becoming an author. This is an event for everyone, with storytelling for the young, author talks by Jade Cake and Wendell Nissen, and a panel discussion about healing through words. There will also be performances by actor Tahi Matt Boren and musician Chris O'Connor doing a series of book reading sessions as part of the Whangarei Fringe Festival on both Friday and Saturday.
And Sunday too.
Yeah, I thought I saw Sunday as well at the Central Library. Important to note, the whole event is free, but if you did want to attend the author talks or the author panel, you do need to register just so they can get online, just so they can get an idea of numbers. So if you go to www.wdc.gov.nz/library/fringe-festival, or find the poster on any of our social media, you can register to go to the talks. But for the Writers' Gallery, there's so many authors, so I won't read them all, but that they'll just be among the bookshelves, and you can sit down and have a chat with them. There'll be some of their books for sale. I think they'll be doing some signings. So yeah, it's a huge event and very cool for our region.
So that's on Saturday. What time does it go?
It's 10 till 12:45.
Okay, so there's quite a lot to do in that time.
Yeah.
So with the different event talks, plus were you saying people, you can just walk around and talk to people?
Yeah, so there's going to be
thing?
authors scattered all throughout the library, and yeah, you can go and talk to them, buy their books, and yeah, so that'd be very cool.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, and she also mentioned at the end there the Early Birds and Bookworms, which is the actor Tahi Matt Boren and musician Chris O'Connor.
So they're doing performances, as I mentioned, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think on Friday and Saturday, or Friday at least, it's like at 9:30, 10:30, 11:30 and 12:30.
There's a big list of the dates on our website.
Yeah, sort of on the hour on those days from 9:30. And that is sort of gently interactive storytelling. So you could come along and listen to them interpret the stories that they read. I think you can even take along a story and get them to read it, and they'll improv it. They'll use music, puppets, and...
Yeah, I've got a list on what to expect here.
Right.
Do you want me to read that? So what to expect from a book reading session if you go along: you'll experience a book being read out loud, you'll meet the musician and storyteller, you and your adult. They asked that if you're any kids to have an adult with them. You and your adult will be invited to participate as an audience. Your session will be relaxed and multi-sensory. You're welcome to stay for the full 30-minute duration, or you can leave or find a nearby quiet area if you need to. You'll find sessions that celebrate NZ Sign Language, Te Reo Māori and Tau Iwi languages.
That'll be amazing. I know Tahi is an actor and Chris O'Connor is an amazing musician. With support from others, so that will be fantastic if you've got children, or even if you're just an adult like me that likes children's stories, then that'll be super interesting, I think.
And singing and song.
Yeah. Sounds cool.
All right.
What else is coming up? What's happening tonight? Or is it time to reveal what LJ is wearing? And so I turned up in my T-shirt and jandals. Wow. I'm painting a picture for the people listening. Yeah,
all right. Sorry.
And LJ is resplendent and stylish in a suit.
Yes.
Suit with a paisley tie.
Oh, thank you.
Is that paisley? Would you describe it as paisley?
It's floral. I don't know
Floral.
if it quite fits the bill to be paisley, but yeah, it's sort of a navy blue and white floral design.
Tempted to step you out for your tie because I wouldn't mind that tie, but I will let you keep it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. and tell us why you are dressed in this way.
Yeah, overdressed for community radio. We are hosting tonight from 6:30 till 10 p.m. The Night Library and Café event at the Whangarei Central Library. Things that you can expect. It's a low-tech evening, so you can either leave your phone at the door or we ask that you pop it on silent. There's going to be music in the cafe space. The cafe will be open to get hot chocolate and coffee. There's going to be some different art installations that you can be a part of upstairs. There's going to be walking book tours / living library hosted by yours truly. The first one will be at 7:30 and that will be a tour of downstairs, and then at 8:15 we've got a tour of the upstairs area at the library, and we'll also have a sensory room upstairs that you can go if you get a little bit overwhelmed. There'll be sensory toys, weighted blanket, low lighting, things like that. Bring your own noise cancelling headphones if that's something that helps you chill out. But as well as that, there'll be just cozy little nooks around the library that you can curl up with a book in. It's really up to you, choose your own adventure sort of thing. It's limited library services, so sorry, no computers or printing tonight, but you can check out books as you usually would. And then at 9:45, anybody that's still around will meet in the children's area, and I will read you a couple of bedtime stories to close out the evening.
I think there's going to be, did you mention music? There'll be some I think a couple of performers, at least one, just one, okay. I thought I heard of a second one that might be coming, maybe not. And that they'll be based in the cafe. Yes. So it should be a pretty chilled but kind of cool vibe.
Yeah.
There's going to be a couple of couches brought
in.
in.
There's a few couches.
Some cozification, some nice mood lighting.
Oh, cozification, I like that. Yeah, some bean bags. And I'm quite proud of our work on the sensory room as somebody that as neurodivergent, gets overwhelmed sometimes at events that I really was excited to go to and then is sad because I have to leave. We hope that kind of facilitates anybody that has had similar experiences in the past to kind of stay and then come and rejoin the fun when they're ready.
That's cool.
And where are you going to be tonight, Glenn?
Well, tonight, LJ, I will be down at the town base in Putahi Park for the Light the City event. That was meant to happen last Wednesday, but it was rained off. So postponed to this Wednesday.
Hopefully it's going
to
get good.
The forecast is clearing around 4 o'clock, so we're touching wood and crossing fingers, and I think it'll be okay. So down there around the circus tent, it's North Power Light the City. I think there's going to be focused on some lights. There's going to be some fire juggling, some food stalls. Mermaid Bait are doing a performance. I think there's some other musical performances.
Yeah, cool.
It's a family event. It's free to go there. And we're taking the mobile library bus and doing...
I'm really sad that I'm missing out.
Well, I'm sad I'm missing out on the Light Library. So
all right.
We'll have to do it all again and attend the opposite events next time. Yes. So we're taking the mobile library bus and doing Books and Beats micro rave on the mobile library. So basically we're putting on a little a sound system, and small groups of people can come into the library bus.
Maybe I'll DJ it.
Yeah.
Next year,
you want to be a DJ? Yeah. That's right. You can turn it into your own mobile DJ booth.
Yeah, so people can come on board and have a boogie?
Yeah, that's the idea. So, I mean, all ages, and
Cool.
Unsure how it's going to go and what sort of interest there will be. So
yeah, it's
best case scenario, there's a queue of people at the door and people we just say, hey, come on for a song or two, up to about 10 people at once. We can fit on.
Love it.
Dance around. We'll have people. You probably take requests. I don't know.
Yeah.
There'll be a range of music on offer. So yeah, it should be fun, and it's just trying to present the library in a different way.
Yeah, I love that. And just because Glenn and I are missing out on each other's events doesn't mean that you have to. They are running sort of around the same time, but you could pop to Light Up the City and then come and check out the night library, or vice versa, or you could run back and forth between the two.
That would be the discerning fringe dweller would plan out a sort of an evening, and go between the two. I think.
Yeah. So we hope to see you at one, but hopefully both events.
I think that would be great to do both. That's my suggestion.
Yes. That's my suggestion also.
So I recommend. Glenn and LJ recommend. You do it all.
Yeah. Right. And
that could be a new segment we do. Glenn and LJ recommend.
And this weekend, I recommend also, when you're not at the library, checking out what's happening at the library. There is the cooking show happening here at 116 by friend of the pod, Amber of Amber's Kitchen at the Quarry Arts Centre, and also the little 116 little coffee bit at the play in the front of the 116 building.
Just to interject, I was here yesterday doing Fringe Radio and had an absolutely fantastic coffee here.
Wonderful.
I'm not a coffee drinker officially,
yeah,
but I have been drinking coffee and it was very good. So if you're
Jessie
going past,
makes a fantastic coffee. Yeah. 116, 8 till about midday, but they've also been open during some of the Fringe events, some special hours. So Glenn recommends, I recommend getting a ticket to Amber's Cooking Show 1 till 2:30 on this Sunday. So you could go to the library first and then you can pop up here. That's what I'll be doing because I'm working this weekend. And she's going to be chatting with a local foodie of Northland, and they're going to bring 5 ingredients from their home pantry or garden, and they're going to cook up a feast, and it'll be full of fun and excitement, and hopefully we'll learn something new. So yeah, you can buy tickets to that on the Fringe website. That is the cooking show.
choice.
Right.
Sounds great. Now, coming up after Fringe.
Yes. Cast your minds forward.
It's hard if you're in the Fringe to think beyond the Fringe.
Beyond the Fringe.
That was not an intentional pun, but
yes, sorry. No sound effects. Yeah.
I think the sound effects are good.
Thanks.
Coming up towards the end of the month, it's going to be Halloween.
Yes.
Now, there is definitely a movie being shown on at the library. Are you familiar with what it's called, LJ? Let's bring it up and find out. I can't recall.
The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, if I've said that right. 1920 silent horror movie masterpiece. Glenn and LJ recommend.
Yeah, go. That'll be really cool. And first of all, just look at the poster. I love the poster. It's a German expressionist art.
Gorgeous.
yeah. Because I said I really admired the poster. It's sort of for the promo we've used the original poster. It's super cool. So
it's PG, parental guidance recommended, and it's going to be shown on Thursday the 31st of October from 5 till 7:30. Our other host, Andy, organises these events, so it'd be great if you came along.
Yeah, come along. I don't think there's a need to book by the looks. You just drop in.
Not this year. It's a drop in.
Just drop in. That'll be cool. And then that's 5:30-ish, was it?
5 till 7:30.
5 till 7:30. Might finish a bit before then. Now, we are planning, it's not officially up yet, but we're planning an event in conjunction with Northern Youth Theatre, spooky book tour through the library. Details still to be confirmed, events still to be confirmed, but it's in the pipeline. So keep an eye out for that, because I think that will be super cool if it goes ahead.
So cool. All right. So I think that is us for today. We're going to play out with a song. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. YouTube and yes, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You can listen to old episodes of the podcast on YouTube. You can also catch our heritage talks on the YouTube. The next show will be the Halloween show with Andy and Carly on the 23rd of October, 2 weeks from now. I've got a book-themed song that's also kind of spooky Halloween-y. It is called Dreams in the Witch House by the band Dreams in the Witch House from the album Dreams in the Witch House, a Lovecraftian rock opera. So it is based on the work of H.P. Lovecraft. It's a fantastic album. They've got hardly any listens on Spotify. If you're into rock opera, I recommend checking out the whole album, but we're just going to play the one track today. So we hope to see you tonight.
Yeah, at one of the events.
Both of the events.
One or both, yeah.
And we'll catch you next time on the shelf. Ka kite.
Ka kite.
There's a haunted town full of whispered tales about a creaking house of mystery. This brooding oldie tomb with a crooked garret room hides a devilish history. Behind its slanting walls, a lurking place, unbounded void transcending time and space. Stay one night and leave no room for doubt. You'll suffer fever dreams in the witch house. Centuries ago, in a pious, fearful town, a witch stood trial for being godless, sentenced to be hung at dawn. On the prison walls he drawn lines and curves that he banished. Her disappearance never was explained, be it Satan's work or sorcery's attained. Stay the night and soon you'll be aroused. Some say she lingers still in the witch house. Behind these slanting walls, a lurking place, unbounded void transcending time and space. Just stay the night and soon you'll be aroused. Some say she lingers still in the witch house. Behind these slanting walls, a lurking place, unbounded void transcending time and space. Stay the night and leave no room for doubt. You'll suffer fever dreams in the witch house.
He was a genius, truly gifted.
Who, my son?
My friend Walter Gilman. We were classmates at Miskatonic and rented rooms in the same house. They call it the Witch House.
Ah, yes.